This is Guru Prasad. To be very honest, I'm not exactly an invitee of the Mentor Club. I follow Mr. Rekhi very, very closely on LinkedIn, and I relish his stories about Novel. I relish your views on DJT, your views on our friend from...
you can tell I have time to spare, right? I write about everything. Geopolitics, economics, local politics in the US, local politics in India, entrepreneurship, my life, my history. Right?
So, yeah, I think you have accomplished very significantly in the ecosystem, and my main driver for this event was to have a personal audience with you.
Okay.
Coming to myself, I have been in the IT services industry, and right now focusing on certain high-end planning applications for enterprises. So basically, we work with Blue Yonder,
Okay.
as well as a couple of other products which we are developing.
Your customers in the US, where are your customers?
We are based out of Bangalore.
Yeah, but who do you sell to?
Pardon me?
Where are your customers?
India and East Coast in the US.
Okay.
Basically, the retail guys,
Okay.
fashion retail, and certain other manufacturing companies in India. So primarily into core planning and planning optimization solutions, supply chain planning, demand planning, forecasting, that kind of stuff.
In that business, in any competitive business, you end up having defined gorillas, large general purpose players. That industry has more gorillas than you can imagine. We have Infosys, Wipro, even IBM, TCS, and this is very long, right? And then what we have, which we define as chimpanzees. Chimpanzees are not gorillas who can do anything for anybody. They specialize. They specialize. They have a broad specialty, maybe or geographical specialty. I'll sell to Japanese customers only, and I will know all about Japanese market. Or I will sell Salesforce solution to all comers, and I'll know Salesforce.com better than anybody else. You can't sell everything to everybody. So I see that you already have planning, retail, just East Coast. Right? The third type of players are monkeys. Monkeys fight for scraps off the table. They never get very big, but they survive. So are you a monkey or are you a chimpanzee?
Something between.
So evolving from monkey to chimpanzee.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to act your opinion. If you are monkey, trying to act like a chimpanzee, you're going to spend a lot of money and not go anywhere, right?
If you're a chimpanzee, you act like a gorilla.
Yeah. On the other hand, if you are a gorilla, act like a chimpanzee, you're going to lose your customers. All right. Nice to meet you.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Anand Rajeshwaran. I am from Shuliyam Industrial Machines. We manufacture burners for the industries to replace fossil fuels with agricultural waste. So we are a hardware-based company. Everybody takes the alternate approach like solar or wind and software-based solution to reduce to bring in decarbonization. We take a hardware-based approach where we replace the entire fuel with waste, agricultural waste that is available in the market. So we recently won the Venture Rise, first runner-up in the Venture Rise Global Startup event that happened recently.
At Rice University, sir. Where was that event?
So it happened in Bangalore Palace Grounds, along with the Global Investor Meet organized by the government of Karnataka. So we are a very young organization with a very small team with a very big ambitions. I'm not sure whether we are a chimpanzee or a monkey, but we aspire to become...
The reason I mentioned in that business was IT services. IT services is a very well evolved ecosystem.
Okay.
So it has, the place. So I don't know your industry enough to see, it evolved ecosystem or just emerging ecosystem.
This is an emerging ecosystem with potential.
The potential for you to become a gorilla in that space.
Yes, exactly. That's where we are starting to hit right now. It's like the entire ecosystem is not yet ready. Like now the responsibility is on us to create the ecosystem itself. So we won't be able to build a very big ecosystem immediately, but like we have modified our business model in such a way that like we can start.
So your main advantage is using the waste, agricultural waste.
Yes.
To produce the.
Yeah. See, we are not into the fuel part of it. See, fuel part of it is agricultural waste can be converted into fuel. So this has been said for the past 25 years, but big industries have not adopted it in a big fashion. The reason is they don't have a hardware that will support their requirements. So we come into the question where we manufacture hardware that match performance of fossil fuel fired systems.
Okay.
So that's our unique proposition that we bring into the picture without doing much change in their environment.
Okay.
So looking forward to your experiences to help us take this forward.
Hello sir, I am Ramlingeswarao KV, founder of Niram. I am having 24 years of experience in teaching, research, information technology and entrepreneur. My education qualification is MCA, MPhil, completed PhD. I am having Niram Foundation NGO for social welfare activities, and also I have developed Niram Language is a patented NLP, Natural Language Processing tool. I have participated in IAMB NSRC Launchpad program. I am started to make a business venture, information technology, and I proudly say that I am a human being. I want to create that atmosphere in the IT industry. Meanwhile, while my entrepreneurship journey, I invented a medicine which will cure cold and cough. Those are neglected diseases, but it protects from cold and cough. I have invented it through my journey.
But you have a very broad, experience, very broad. So, the entrepreneurs, starting out, have to have a very narrow focus. I want to solve this one problem for this one set of customers. When you start by saying, I have developed this technology, I've done that, and I've done that, that doesn't mean anything to me. You have to say, there is this set of customers, they have this problem that is unsolved, and I have solution for them. I have developed the technologies, natural language processing, or whatever. You need to start from outside in, rather than saying, I have this, and this. I don't know what that, who are you going after? So there has to be a very sharp definition of target set of customers that you're going after, and what problem of theirs that you're solving. You cannot be solving all the problems of theirs because you're small. Small potato, right? You're starting entrepreneur. So you have to reach it. What is it? You're starting your entrepreneurial journey because you have identified a problem that you can solve better than anybody else.
Yes, sir. It is communication level, because when people communicate in a language, they can communicate convenient to their mother tongue or well-known language. People here my talk is technology need to be available to the people who knows at least one language. That is my interest and intention, because everyone is connected with at least one language. As the language is there, my product help is there for the people.
So your NLP will help improve people's communication skills.
Definitely, it will improve lot of things. Multi areas, it is helpful. Means education.
There is a very broad statement of the problems, right? So which set of applications is where you have the most value added? Because again, as a small entrepreneur, you don't have enough resources to reach multiple customers, multiple markets with multiple offerings, right? I will go after the BPO market because these guys have an accent, selling to the American customer, and I'll help solve that one problem. You now narrow down your problem, right? So you need to define, because my NLP technology will help improve. I will do more later. So you need to start by saying,
Yeah. Definitely, sir. I got your point. First point is security, cyber security. For example, everyone is connected to banking sector online through their banking websites. They give user ID and password in only one language, English, nowadays. With my product, they can create user ID and password in multiple languages, combination of multiple languages. It improves the cyber security at high level.
Okay, all right. I want to leave it at that. See, you should say, hey, I can help banks create a superior cybersecurity variable passwords using my technology, and here's a set of applications I'm going to do after, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And through this, my entrepreneurship journey, I'm looking for donors for my Niram Foundation and also investors for my startup that is going to start with information technology initially.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So, good evening, sir. It's an honor to.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you here with us. So I actually owe a lot to TIE, TIE Bangalore as well as TIE Mumbai, because I've got my mentor Raj Jaswa through the program Startup to IPO.
Wonderful person.
Yes, wonderful, sir. And also, I think another of my tech advisors, Vikram Verma, who's with UB, which is a unicorn. He's a tech advisor of mine. I think I met him at one of the TIE events. T and Hari I met. So many of my mentors. Also, it's wonderful to interact with a lot of entrepreneurs. There are groups like Ma'am is heading TIE Women group in Bangalore, and then I'm also part of the FinTech committee at TIE Bangalore. There are many. There's a FinTech committee, education committee, EdTech committee, Agri-Tech. So all of these are benefiting us entrepreneurs. So thank you for having thought of TIE many years back. And going on to my particular venture. So I'm Kanchan Dwivedi. I'm the founder of Inspire, a Stanford alumna, and I'm also a very unusual background. I come from because I am a flight lieutenant. I was there in the Indian Air Force for 5 years. Then worked in the corporate. Last was with in Infosys in Hong Kong, and then I was focusing on banking sector there.
So that's very athletic.
Yes, sir. Yes, a very unusual background, but I am using all of the experience from the government, from the corporate and the entrepreneurship to bring it all together. So I'm building a community for women, and I'm very passionate about women empowerment. I've been working on multiple things. I'm a part of Indian Women Network, which is under CII. Also, multiple women groups. There's a Women in Entrepreneurship group at IIT Bombay, the Desai Sethi School of Entrepreneurship. I'm a mentor there, and I'm a part. So I'm at least part of 10 such organizations where there are women in corporate, women in entrepreneurship, the college students I'm mentoring. So with Inspire, I'm trying to build up a community which is right now 400 women strong, so women and girls. There's a few girls who have joined from IIT Bombay also. And this has been possible only in a matter of 2 weeks. I started off, I think slightly more than 2 weeks. I started off on 17th November. And luckily for me, there are enough women wanting to join such organizations. So within no time, on my own.
Is it non-profit or is it for-profit business?
Yes, this is a for-profit business. And the core is we want to offer financial offerings, sir. Because in India, sir, half of the population is women. But
that's true everywhere.
yes, sir. But very few financial institutions, sir, you can count them on your fingertips who are catering to women. And then women have very special journeys, sir. I am actually slightly ahead in my journey. I've seen career breaks. when I could have done with some kind of a financial assistance, because you can upskill yourself during those career breaks when you want to rejoin. When you're rejoining, you want some corporates to come and help you. Maybe you don't want to rejoin a corporate, you want to start something on their own. Maybe with 10 years of experience, now I want to start something. Then who's going to help me? So at my point in time, when I was in Hong Kong, there was nobody to help me. I was in corporate in Infosys. People were only in corporate around me. So I was facing this issue, so I logged on to YouTube and 0 to 1 and Y Combinator videos, etc. All these videos I saw, that is how I skilled myself. So today, of course, government has provided a lot of support, but I'm coming in from a woman angle, sir, because I understand women. So we are looking to create a community, sir, where we can offer the whole bouquet of financial services. So right from financial literacy to financial planning. And so only 2% of women have done retirement planning in India. So what happens to 98% of them? So there's a huge market out there which is looking at investment advice. Even though millennial women have started investing, sir, during the COVID especially, so they have started investing in stocks and mutual funds. So I want to see, can we take it across to many more women, not only millennial women, because millennial women are just 130 million strong. So what happens to the rest of the 200 million odd women? So can we also get them in the fold, teach them about financial literacy?
I mean, I got a broader intention,
So,
but what is your specific business plan? You're building a you're building a database of women, or a community of women, and then you will have a community service providers to provide them. Is going to be a marketplace?
yes, sir. So there are a couple of business, revenue streams I was looking at. One was just purely financial planning, sir. So if somebody is providing you tax saving advice or retirement planning or planning.
This is a online AI.
Online AI driven, sir. AI, absolutely AI driven. The moment you log in, we find out your interests, and then we only give you what you are interested in. If you're interested in fashion as an entrepreneur, plus entrepreneurship, then we give you only those feeds which focus around how to dress well, how to look good, how to present, and how to be an entrepreneur.
So I got it. But in almost every case, you need to build a elevator pitch. That's what used by the person, where you ought to be able to tell me in 2 minutes or less.
Right.
If I was to give you a pitch, women as a sector have been underserved in financial advice area.
Yes.
And I want to build a site which will help women get the advice they need using AI, and I will leave at that one.
Yes, sir. So I have it ready, sir.
Yeah.
So
But I'm saying that's when you first tell me.
yes, sir.
That's all you need to tell me.
Yes, sir.
And then we can work. Same thing. So you went through on and on and on. You need to start by saying a problem that you can solve, or you want to solve, rather than give me the whole history, right? So I want to help solve cybersecurity problem for the financial institutions, where I can help them. The
Applications.
most of use case, specific use case that most of us start to lose. You start to lose me. Most of us, if we haven't got the satisfaction, because one more confused person is the way that we'll say, and you'll be you'll be tuned out. You need to put your hooks in there early enough for me to be interested to proceed further with you, right?
That's great, sir. So it's what I would say is it's Inspire is an AI first, one-stop finance platform for millennial Indian women.
Yeah. So okay, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
But because it kind of limits the whole thing, because you would have got the whole So we
No, I start by saying that millennial and women are starting to have financial means, but their needs are underserved. Nobody has focused on that one as a market.
yes, that's wonderful, sir. I think I'll add that to
Yeah,
it. Yes,
start by that, right?
yes, sir.
So you have defined the problem. I have this new generation of women who have financial means, but they are not getting the advice and help that they need and they can afford to pay for.
Yes.
And I want to zero in on their needs, and and I will have a AI-based solution. Yeah.
That's brilliant, sir. I'll add it to it.
Oh, I haven't told a brilliant, yeah. No, but the getting your message sharply out early
Yes, sir.
is a key to getting people's attention.
Yes, thank you.
Healthcare concerns are biggest worries for all of us, all human beings. So we are creating an environment as a service for patients and doctors for just-in-time support, decision-making support, using artificial intelligence, NLP, computer vision. So creating a local ecosystem, connecting all the ecosystem providers, chemists to diagnostics to ambulatory services, and patient would be given some advices on the fly and connecting to the doctors. Same for the doctors would be given the background of the history of the patient, that kind of a scenario. Starting with two verticals. First vertical is perinatal, the advanced pregnant woman up to 1 month after the birth, and geriatric services.
Yeah, I think I haven't got the idea. So who are you replacing? Are you
We're not
replacing?
replacing anybody. We are trying to find out the gaps.
You define the unmet need.
So, middle of a night, a pregnant woman gets up, having a problem. On today's date, she doesn't know who to call. So she calls the senior most gynae she's visiting. And similarly, 100 other people try to call the same worry. That kind of a scenario happens. Here in this case, she gets a support locally from that gynae's advice.
So you are trying to have a site, a portal, where more women in panic mode or need get instant advice what to do.
Very true.
Yeah.
Not only in panic,
Yeah.
but anytime.
No, I'm just
Right.
So a pregnant. See, you need to get that, to start by saying that I am going to provide a instant advice help portal to don't talk about all the health problems, all the everything. Just stay focused on and then I will do similar things for other things, geriatric care. So when you start by saying doctors, this and that and that and that, independent, I'm totally lost. Who are you? Are you going to replace a doctor? Hospital? Yeah. So you are a place, a portal to go to for a pregnant woman who needs help, emergency or otherwise, right? And then we will build on that for other geriatric care. You can pick your things, but see, this is the future. Software AI is going to help solve lots of issues. And I didn't hear from you the software AI. I mean, is there a people-driven thing? They tell you and somebody answers the phone, or?
That's the second level. The first level is my computer vision, which reads your face and understands your problem. Based on that, it routes the call to the relevant people.
Good.
Hi, I'm Gautam. So I run a recruitment consulting firm for big data and analytics. So we provide, extended recruitment teams for our clients who are basically big data and analytics service providers. So that's what we do. So we are, at a broad level, we are a headhunter, but we do specifically focus on big data and analytics. And
So you are supplying the people who are into big data analytics for businesses? Or
We help them find them, so
Yeah.
they onboard it
so,
themselves.
so you have a database. Your specialty is to help people find the big data analytics people.
Yes, so basically we help them find, it's time to fill faster, and they onboard it on their payroll. We
Yeah.
don't have it.
So you have done enough of a database building.
Yes, we've done it, and I personally was a data scientist myself before starting this, so that background kind of helps in recruitment.
Yeah. The name of the game is to very quickly define. I mean, you went through all the. Earlier, I was going to ask you, are you using big data analytics to find people? But towards the end, I thought it says, oh, he's helping you find the big data analytics people. You'd have to have a very clear problem statement. Your businesses have needs and they have been trouble finding big data analytics people. I am specialized to help them find and place them, right? Okay. I am not the guy who's angry traffic. So if somebody has a hand up, what should I do? I thought people were doing there one by one. Who's in charge here? So when he raises his hand, what should I do?
Sorry? Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have 8 to 10
Oh yeah, so his turn will come, right?
Yeah, your turn will come. Later, we have this entire evening. So.
Yeah. But I don't want to be the police here. You decide. Yeah. Huh?
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Namaste. I'm Atharva Upadhyay. So I work for a company, Innovate Software Private Limited. It's IT services company. So, but we are a team of 3 which are incubated a startup, a tech startup inside this company. So we are sitting based in Bangalore. This is a little bit information about the company and I work for. So I'll pitch out about the product now. So imagine a Indian school which want to be digitized. 80% of Indian school students are sitting in the rural areas right now, and that room has to be digitized. You have to actually come up with a 50 PCs, 50 licenses for Microsoft, and then there is a good connection of the Wi-Fi, and again the content. What we are trying to do with is a hardware product. It's a hardware plus software product, which actually can replace your classroom scenario infrastructure cost by 50%. So right now, your PC, 50 PCs right now cost around 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs rupees with your power backup and your Wi-Fi connection. We are actually connecting with consolidating that all computation power at one server and connecting them inside one room and reducing that cost by 60%. We are facing some problems on scaling up right now and whom to target on the customer side. So we have.
I'll tell you, you are facing the problem right now. I'm totally lost. So let me restate your problem for you, right? The world is digitizing. Schools are in trouble. They need help to digitize their classrooms and all that. We are specializing to help them transition to this new digital world. Why didn't you say that, right? Yeah, and we will offer that, the complete solution. Don't worry about trust yet. If you send me on the trust, then you're telling me that the only advantage that you're going to have is a cheaper stuff. You are solving a problem, and it's driven that you'll have to compete to offer a best price. So we are specializing in helping schools transition from regular old-fashioned transition to the new digital classrooms where they need servers, this applications, and we as a group are going to do that. That's your mantra. See, why am I able to do that? Sitting here, listening to you and regurgitate, because I have a trained ear, and I'm bothering to listen to you enough to then. But most people will start to tune you out. So what is he having? Does he have a cheaper way of buying PCs from China, or is he? When you have 6, 7, 8 different messages, I don't know which message is your primary message. Your primary message is that you're building expertise to help school transition from old fashion classroom to new digital classrooms.
So we have, I can say we have a hardware plus software based system
No,
which can turn.
I did not use the word hardware, software. Whatever that new digital classroom needs, I am specializing to help all schools to convert from old-fashioned schools to new digital classrooms. Leave at that because it implies that everything they need, I will provide. Hardware, software, servers, networks. Why do I have, the digital classroom would need all that, right? And you're specializing to help them transition to that environment. The more you tell, more you confuse me.
The rest of you just focus on the mantra, as Kanwal is saying. So don't worry about explaining.
When you explain, you confuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. State the problems more clearly. The problem you want to state is that the word classrooms are transitioning from old-fashioned regular classroom to digital classrooms. People need help to get there, and I am specializing to help you. Yeah. So people are having trouble finding the big data analytics. People, I have specialized in tracking them and placing them. Women are they are starting to make money. They have financial planning needs, and nobody's focused on them. See, you state the problem with that level of clarity. Rather than, I'm doing NLP and I'm doing this and I've done that. What does that mean? Banks have a need to do the new cyber security using languages, natural languages. And I have developed expertise in techniques, technologies, right? There's always a statement of problem that you're going after in a very concise, very precise terms. And if I was to start expanding on that one, then I want to start, my net statement is this is a massive problem, 100,000 schools with 10 classrooms, millions classrooms need to be done. Then you start to define very quickly, is this a business that I as an investor want to be interested in? So two things, the problem and the size of the market. Those are the most interesting investment decisions, right? I don't want to do 1, 2, 3 classrooms. There's a hierarchy of messaging. You define that size, and then very quickly define what is that you bring to the party. Do you bring technology to the party? You bring expertise to the party? You're using third parties things. You're developing your own applications. You're using so there's a third party. Third point. What is that you do to put this together? What is your role? Are you a technology provider? Are you a service provider? Are you an intermediary? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Good evening. My name is Chandra Mohan. I'm founder of Banishri Renewable Energy Systems. We are trying to solve life cycle cost of a battery storage system. In
Life cycle cost.
Life cycle cost of a battery storage in renewable energy space. It's a
in which space?
Renewable energy space.
Yeah.
So we are trying to reduce the capex and opex by introducing a new concept called battery as a service, primarily focusing on lead acid battery market. And we have cracked at least each customer in one domain, which is $1 billion each. In India, the TAM is around $5 billion. Worldwide, it is around $50 billion. So we want to reach 10% in next 3 years. And we already cracked 3 big customers, Kotak Mahindra Bank in banking sector, and in government Kionics, and few schools and colleges, and also ITI from a PSU sector. So we are interested to create this awareness through TI, for its members, and also to get the market.
Yeah. I am confused enough not to come up with a precise message for you. You started by saying life cycle cost of batteries. I don't know what that means.
Today, if a battery is sold as in the capex model, we can reduce it by 30%. If in 10 years, if you want to,
are you a financial instrument? instead of doing tap purchase, you're leasing item.
Yes.
So let's start by saying that one. Yeah, that, yeah. So I thought you may have a technology solution.
We are technology players trying to build a complete ecosystem, right from finance.
So you're a technology player with a financial, engineering to help.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I mean, I'm still trying to extract the answer from you, right? You need to be able to say, the lifetime cost of batteries, thus and such, I can help you to reduce by 30% by doing this, this, and this. You see what I'm saying? Sure. Rather than, when you start to explain to me, you're describing an elephant. What is a wall? No, it's a rope. You define in a more direct terms, right?
Sure.
But I don't know what you're doing.
Sure. Thank you.
So we're both working for the same company. My name is Bala, and we are a sports coaching technology company. We are basically a B2B. Base is in the US. And
based in US?
Based in the US, in California and in Florida. It's basically the IMG Academy, and there's a Shock Tennis, which is in California, in Los Angeles. And we are connecting with the local professional sports academies here in India with an intention to provide the pro coaching which is needed for international level sports. So very high level coaching, this is essentially for the Olympics or Paralympics and that kind of sport. So we're a technology company.
I have anybody, Geeta, you got it?
It's a B2B technology coaching. Yeah.
What are you trying to solve?
We are
what problem are you trying to solve?
The problem is that in India, for example, India doesn't get many medals despite its population. We were 48th last time in the last Olympics. We have the capacity, but the amount of resources and coaching available within India is limited. So that's part of the problem. And what we're doing is we're aiming for not just the next Olympics, it's too early. Paris is in a couple of years, but the LA Olympics is in 2028. So we're currently working and connecting with the sports academies in India and providing them the coaching services.
Could you say this all in one half a sentence?
Okay. So we're providing high-level coaching to the sports academies in India.
Okay.
Sports coaching.
Okay. All right, okay. Yeah. Is it a technology-driven?
It's totally technology-driven. There's a performance optimization software. So we do have a very proper system where people have to engage in that software, and then they get diagnosed, they get tested, and then they have to follow a protocol.
So you're trying to replace the coaches?
You're
trying to replace the coaches, or you're trying to supplement the coaches?
No, the coaches who are already here will be trained.
You're saying that Indian coaches are not good enough right now to train their people to win medals. You're helping upgrade the coaching capabilities using software and technology.
And the direct support from the US coaches.
And the backup support from the US coaches.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Why didn't you say that to me?
Yeah.
You're trying to upgrade the coaching services in India using technology and the backup help from the US coaches.
That's right.
There you go. See, is this a large enough problem? Is this where you can make a large enough profitable business for investors to come in?
Yes, actually, the numbers we're talking about, just the academies themselves, there are over 300 pro academies in India. And they are connected with various companies and organizations externally, like in Australia and other countries.
300 companies, if I made $10,000 from each, and that's roughly about $3 million.
No, there's a lot more, because each company connects with a program with a lot of
I'm
students.
just ballparking. How large a business can you build?
It's totally a $30 million.
See, you didn't describe problem in enough detail for me to get the sense.
Yeah.
At some level, by the way, $30 million business, nobody would touch anyway. That's not a business that's financeable by venture money. I need to be able to build a business which can reach $100 million and more, and growing and profitable, right? So when I thought about a business that can be $30 to $50 million, then I got a market share of 20%, because I'm not the only player and I'm not the only way of doing that one. So then your revenue starts, unless you're telling me that your share of the revenue is 30 to 40, and that means it's a much bigger business to be out ahead.
This is only for India. So the same coaching model can be applied elsewhere as well. But at the moment, the Indian market is itself very big. There's a huge gap here. And we've calculated it based on a very low paying capacity.
You should go see those guys in Bombay. Olympic Gold Quest. Are you aware of them?
Sorry?
Olympic Gold Quest.
I've heard of it, but I think I heard it from actually one of the persons here in Thai itself. Yeah. They told me about it.
They are a bunch of rich people out of Mumbai mostly, whose mission is to improve the India's, how can we support Indian coaches, Indian athletes to win more battles. Yeah. But the fact you're not aware of them, you're not on top of your market. Those guys are collecting and driving this market.
There are a couple more entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I think there was a hand up there. I don't want to make.
Hi, Kanwal. Ajay Sanghania from.
Close your mouth.
Yeah, hi, Kanwal. Ajay Sanghania from 10x Growth in Mumbai. It is good to see you after many years. I saw you last 30 years back or something like that. So good. You have inspired probably millions of entrepreneurs. I am trying to inspire people in a different category. I'm trying to inspire people to contribute by offering anywhere between 2 to 10 hours of their life for selfless contribution to solving the problems of humanity. And I don't know, should I grow organically or should I create a grand platform and invite everybody? So like how you have built TIE, which has probably started in a room or something, and now it has flourished. If you were to rebuild TIE, how would you go about as advice to me for building a contribution platform?
Yeah, you want to answer that, Lisa? So I haven't got the idea of what problem you're trying to solve.
Yeah,
so let me, is it non-profit or it's for profit?
It's a for-profit organization.
Yeah. So TIE was a spiritual movement.
Right.
How do we inspire, encourage our people to become entrepreneurs rather than job seekers? So there was a fervor. It was like a very spiritual movement. We are trying to become available to young people, show them what we have achieved, what they can achieve. So once we started to have that, it grew on its own.
Right.
The mission.
So, sorry, I have not decided whether it will be for profit or not for profit.
Yeah. No, just to tell you. Yeah. And even though we are non-profit, I'm not funding it. I'm not putting money into it.
Right.
I have not put any money into it. I am putting my time and energy to inspire people to do further. And so TIE movement has been by and large an organic movement where we showed the way, we inspired. I don't know if there's any other way of doing it. I don't know if you can set up an app and app will make it happen. This is a movement where young people need to be shown what's possible. So it was a very idealistic movement, was never intended to be profit, but we never intended to put $1 into it. It's a self-help, self-improvement group where we will bring the ideas and you adopt. People from Boston said, hey, we love what you're doing. Can we do that in Boston? Yes, please. Yeah. So it was an opt-in movement. A few of us went to Boston to tell them what we do, and they took off on their own. Yeah, so you shouldn't use
but
tie.
If you were to do it again.
But if you now you want to create the if people pay forward, you pay back to.
Yes, exactly.
So it's a hard problem to solve.
Because
Thai
for
movement
centuries, government has not solved it, corporates have not solved it, NGOs have not solved it. I think the citizens can solve it.
Yeah.
So, and I think now, because of the technology available.
Yeah, human nature is very, what's in it for me? Type of thing. I'll take care, my children, my family, maybe I'll take care of my brothers, Thai movement was, what's in for you? You as an entrepreneur, you as a person can become an entrepreneur. For us, the founders of Thai, it was a spiritual movement to give back our time, give back our energy. It was like a freedom movement. Why do you fight for freedom? So there are two different things, right?
Amazing.
Yeah. So if you want to make a business out of it, you need to have a problem statement where you don't have to tell person, hey, you ought to be giving money. You say, yeah, sure. You need to define, probably in a different fashion.
I would like to have a detailed conversation if you can, whenever you can.
Yeah.
Because this is a very important thing I'm struggling
I am a strong believer in paying forward.
So
but it's a very hard problem to
take
solve.
your blessings and advice and.
Oh no, you know what my blessing? Yeah, I know what that means.
No, if you noticed, I already wrote a LinkedIn message. I'm not for your money. I don't want any money. So please.
I don't know if the purpose of this meeting. I thought I was here to talk to 10, 15 entrepreneurs. And
thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Mr. Rekhi. Rajesh Joni here. We run a neo-bank for the migrants, intra-migrants within India. There are around 455 million people. Roughly a third of Indians move because of the rapid urbanization to the cities, industrial clusters from the villages. And why they move, they're better than their urban poor here. They earn roughly around 20,000 Indian monthly. But there is not enough banking services that helps them, especially considering that there's a lot of this money goes back as remittance back to their home villages. Around 35% of their revenue goes back as remittance. The rest of the money is left in pockets, and they normally don't get to, get into any kind of a savings product.
So you're saying you have a new way of improving the efficiency of remittances back to home?
Yeah, exactly.
I thought this problem is being solved wonderfully in India now, right? I thought with India Stat and all this stuff is happening, so you still see a problem that needs to be solved.
That's right. Say, for example, we did around $400 million equivalent worth of money transferred through our rail last year, and this is all cash to digital. The India stack is still digital. Most of these people still earn their revenue as cash. So there is a need for somebody to transfer this from the cash to digital, and that's what we provide. We do it via a program called Raja Rani card. Basically, 2 cards connected to a single wallet, and these cards will be used as a remittance, the rail.
Okay. So you need to become more succinct, more concise in stating the problems. I'm having a tough time believing that this problem is same problem. I heard this issue 20 years ago, 10 years ago, but my basic impression was, India is becoming a lot more cash transfer efficient, than it ever was. with all these new technologies. So there is a initial part of converting your cash into digital, but isn't the cash in the bank being converted to digital already? If I have,
It's because their salaries are paid in cash. It's not paid.
Once I deposit in the bank, is not.
It is not there still. To give you a number, $26 billion were transferred through this very last year.
Okay, all right. So, for me to understand, I'll have to go through, which I don't want to do in this last trip. And I don't know what the purpose was of this meeting was. I was told 10 entrepreneurs will talk to them in detail about their issues. But here we are.
Hello, Kanwal. I'm Jayvant Kamath, medical devices that space. Currently, spirometers are used for lung function test. It's a gadget called spirometer, which has been used for last 50 years or so.
Yeah, what the lung function?
Lung function. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's very hard, for geriatric and for children to blow into that. We're trying to solve the problem with the new technology called oscillometry technology. So we have done the study, we have just launched in India. Okay, we're the first in India and probably fourth in the world using a technology called oscillometry. It's a pattern, oscillometry.
Yeah.
That's a tech. Okay. Now we want to scale this up. Okay. One help we have got, we have partnered with Cipla, Pharma Cipla for distribution.
Yeah. The drug company. Okay.
Yeah. So we need to now scale it up, and how do we do? That's why we need help. Some investors looking for investors.
You need to improve your storytelling a lot more. To get the investors. So the lung function testing technology has been around and expensive and unwieldy. We have a new, improved way of doing it using this new technology. We need it's a massive market. We need investments. That's what you want to say, right? All right. Yeah. I am not investing anymore. I am 77. I don't depend upon investing in green bananas and seeds. Yeah. So you shouldn't be looking to me for investments anymore.
Yeah. So, Kanwal, thank you so much for giving all the insights to the startups. And most important thing is, you said the takeaways are start with the problem, be concise, and and then
precise.
And precise, yes, concise and precise. Thank you so much. And we have about 1 or 2 minutes left. We will let Kanwal, summarize what his thoughts are, and after that there will be a half-an-hour tea. Then we'll come back for an interview with him.
You don't have to give your whole future plan. You take the subset of the problem that you will solve eventually, that you think needs to be solved now, and just stay focused there, and say it as few words. I use the example of knife. For a knife to cut deeper, it needs to be sharp. That means you need to take the edge off. And same thing is true when you make a statement. If we use 10 words to say something, it's not as sharp as when you use 8 words to say something. Every word that you use has to have a reason to be used. So you describe the problem in as few words as quickly as possible, and I am a master of that one. The reason people love my LinkedIn quotes. I never burden with anybody with long problems. If anybody reads my LinkedIn post, how precisely they are written. I take my readers to be very smart people. I shouldn't have to say and build any context. I'd never build any context. If you read, very quick, and I don't go through 20 things, and I start asking things. I wonder, what will happen this. I don't give you the answers either. So the point is that you want to get to the place where you assume the other guy is smart. I don't have to explain and build the context. If he needs, he will ask more. So in your case, women are determined producers. They are not getting the financial advice they need. I want to build a AI-driven portal to help them. I don't need to use word millennial. I don't have to explain. If I go further, when I start a new class of investors in women is emerging that has been neglected by the banks or other financial institutions now, is an opportunity that I want to, So it takes me 2 or 3 iterations, and I get there very quickly. Every word I want to use has to be like that. It's not to make a more precise statement of problem that you have, a more precise execution that you will do. Then you start to define what is that important that I need to do now and what is that I can do later. Right? Narrow down the problem to a bare minimum. Startups are very under-resourced, fragile entities. They don't have resources to solve the big problems. So make your problem smaller and smaller to the point where you can solve it. Then you staircase by as you start to succeed at next layer. You cannot solve you will get there in 3 years. I need to do this to build credibility, build confidence. Then I'll get more resources to do this, right? So when you're looking for investment, give the taste of what's possible, and then tell what the dream is, if they want to know. Their dream is to build a big financial institution. Dream is to build NLP-based solutions for all these set of problems. That should be enough, right?
Great. Thank you so much, Kanwal. And Madan is here. And, so maybe Madan, we also can take a little bit, take away from here. Yeah. And we can have a how to pitch, elevator pitch session. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Nice to see you.
Gentlemen, are we all ready? And are we switched off on our mobiles? Can I welcome Mr. Kanwal Rekhi? And a big round of applause for a very, very special gentleman who is here in Bangalore. And thank you so much, Mr. Rekhi, for being here and for giving us this time, and for all of us here who are so excited to finally meet. And we have met sometimes before, of course, but meet the legend who has transformed, I think, entrepreneurship worldwide, and especially for our subcontinent. So while I'm just going to go straight into it, so bear with me. All of us are here. We've been having wonderful conversations with great leaders in the last couple of years of COVID. But today is a very, very special day. I will not do, Mr. Rekhi, the cliched honor of saying everybody knows him, because I'm very, very sure everybody really does. But what is important is for us to revisit the legend that we take for granted, the legend that we know and admire, but who has made such a huge, huge journey, not only for himself and for the entrepreneurial world, but also as a guiding light and literally a lighthouse for people who know now that it's possible. So I want you to raise your hands and a big round of applause for Mr. Kanwal Rekhi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that's just a little bit of what, what TIE owes you and recognizes and appreciates you for, Mr. Rekhi. But today is a day for TIE Bangalore to just collect our thoughts and say so many different things about what Mr. Rekhi is and what he means. We know we're moving into a fireside chat in a little while. President Mr. Madan Padaki is here. But along with Mr. Rekhi, we have two other wonderful gentlemen who I've had the privilege to know in very different capacities over the years. And this is the advantage that you have of being in Bangalore for the longest time. I was joking with Professor Sadagopan, who is IIITB and so many other things, but so much of a mentor to many people, that I was grateful that nobody was sort of lunging at his feet and asking for a Shashtang Pranam, because he has done so much for so many different people. Yes, I think that was a close call, Professor. It almost happened just now. Dr. Mitta, honestly, the less said, the better. He has been the founder of TIE Bangalore. He has done extraordinary things, and he has been solid, silent, and completely supportive. We have never had a moment where Dr. Mitta has not been available, has never felt ownership. He has an amazing recollection, so he will take me back to that. Yeah, you were one of the founders of this particular thing in women leaders. And, I'm amazed. I said, but how do you remember all this? And there it is. So look at who we have here today. We have Mr. Kanwal Rekhi, and we have him in a fireside chat with Professor Sadagopan, and we're going to have a conversation with, I'm sure Madan will take over in a couple of minutes. So get ready for some very interesting conversation. But before that, we do want to be able to felicitate him, and for that, we have to set a little bit of a context. Bear with me, because I learned a lot of things today about Kanwal, and I think it's important for us to remember that. A few minutes ago when we met in the little meeting room outside, I said what was fascinating is, and I'm a Fauji brat myself, so I can get away with that. Do you know his wife was in the US Air Force? Oh. I thought it was fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And he fell in love with her in her Air Force uniform. So yeah, so that was a great start. So, here are a couple of things that you don't really know about Kanwal, but there it is. So the power of the uniform, the magic of the uniform is not limited to women alone. I mean, you can see, so. Apart from that, I was looking at a couple of his little inputs on entrepreneurship, and he talks about Mr. Inside and Mr. Outside. Mr. Inside is the one who makes sure the trains run, and Mr. Outside is the one that makes sure there's enough traffic to come to the train station. What is fascinating is we forget these very basic things over a period of time, and his advice has been direct, blunt, to the point. And I think this kind of direct updates, mentoring, I think is a big, big plus that many of us have really missed having. So I'm going to say a quick 2 minutes. I'm going to quickly go through this. We know that he is the first Indo-American founder and CEO to take a venture-backed company public on the NASDAQ. He's co-founded and built TIE, and this is very special to us. We are TIE here today. He has co-founded and built TIE. You should go out and read some of the charters that he and Professor C.K. Prahlad have made in 1990 when it was started up. And the conversations, the strategy, the documents, the kind of vision that they had at that time, it is a powerful moment because 32 years later, we are actually benefiting from that. He has built TIE into the largest global network of Indian entrepreneurs and co-founded Inventus, where he applies his full-time energy building Inventus into a leading early-stage franchise. So we know that Kanwal had come to the United States from India for graduate studies. We know about his many technology companies that he worked with before he co-founded Exelon in Silicon Valley. And this was to commercialize Ethernet and TCP/IP standards, which became the basis of the internet. I know when we say this now, it seems a little strange, but don't forget where it was. We all need to get a sense of our roots, our background, who we were, what we were doing, and how far we've come. But this is amazing. He took Exelon public in '87 and became the first American founder and CEO to list a venture-backed company on the NASDAQ. So that's a big one. It merged later with Novell, where he served as EVP, CTO, and board director for 5 years. He also established Novell's operations in India, grew the company into the second largest software vendor in the world, and returned, hold your breath, 100x to his venture investors. Later, Kanwal was CEO of NSIM and also of Cybermedia, both companies where he was initially a lead investor and board member. And Cybermedia was later acquired by Network Associates. As a venture investor, he has been, before setting up Inventus, Kanwal has been a full-time venture angel, investing his own capital in more than 50 startups, and I'm sure the numbers have increased while I was reading this. And initial financings for 23 of them, playing active role in their boards, and these resulted in over 21 exits and 6 IPOs to date. What is very, very interesting is, apart from this, he's also very active in Indian policy matters relating to venture and advised Indian government policy makers in reforming venture regulations. So this encouraged fund formation in India, and Kanwal was the founding limited partner behind Infinity Capital, a successful early-stage India venture fund. He advised the Indian Prime Minister and the government on the aggressive deregulation of telecom, leading to the explosive growth of mobile telephony in India. And please remember, these are all bases from which we just take for granted, but this is really where we've pivoted and done some amazing expansion in India. At Inventus, Kanwal has been board director, Sierra Atlantic, which was acquired by Hitachi, Assured Risk, Espresso Logic, Gen Y, and an observer in Poshmark. And as we speak, there are so many other companies that I'm not even going to list. As an entrepreneurial leader, please note, we know that he's a very well-known figure in the global Indian community and in the entrepreneurial world as an authority, and absolutely as a doyen, a person who stands head and shoulders above everyone. He co-founded the Indo-US Entrepreneurs TIE to promote Indian entrepreneurship and was TIE's president through the late 90s, presiding over its growth into a global organization with tens of thousands of members who have been behind Silicon Valley and India startups. Kanwal is currently a trustee on the global board of TIE, in addition to his many other positions here. And while he works closely with entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley in India, he has accomplished a lot working with them and mentoring them. We know that he is a BSE from IIT Bombay and an MSc and honorary doctorate in both business and engineering from Michigan Tech, a board member of IIT Bombay Heritage Fund and also founder of the Kanwal Rekhi Schools of Information, and at both IIT Bombay and Michigan Tech. We also know him for his many philanthropic investments and his concern, and particularly for IIT, of course. I think the biggest plus and biggest advantage that all of us have before I hand this over to Madan is to understand that in the spirit of TIE that this giant occupies today is not just in what he has done and what message he has sent across, his own success, but his generosity, repeated generosity in willing to mentor and invest in people without holding back. It is that single generosity of spirit which I think exemplifies and underlines TIE's own vision. And we take it from the leader. So when you go back, Kanwal, I hope, you're going to go back to the Bangalore of the US, which is the Silicon Valley. So I'm just hoping that that won't ruffle too many feathers. But yes, that's really where we are. Let's take pride in the fact that that position is simply because a number of people allowed you to look over the shoulders of giants. So to one giant who we are delighted, absolutely delighted, to have here with us today and celebrate. Over to you, Mr. Rekhi, and to Madan for the next stage of the...
Super. Thank you, Priya, for that wonderful introduction. And Kanwal, it's really an honor to have you here with us. I know it's been over 5 years since you made a visit to Bangalore, and we quickly grabbed this opportunity to have you join us. You were very kind to share, spare time. You also spent time. I think the generosity that Priya spoke about. I've never heard you say no when we've requested you to talk to entrepreneurs. The kind of honest feedback and the insights that you give to entrepreneurs are worth. I think every word is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in the advice that it comes. So, without further ado, Kanwal, may we request you to please join us as we confer the Spirit of TIE Lifetime Achievement Award on to Kanwal. And request Dr. Sridhar Bitta, Professor Sadagopan to join us as we do the honors. And Priya. So we are welcoming you with with the traditional Mysore peta.
I think this is very symbolic. Many pictures.
Yeah.
Let me take that one for you.
Yes. Wonderful.
I think we're taking it on his
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Okay, now just do this quickly. Yeah, please do. Thank you. Are we calling it the Bangaloreization of Silicon Valley?
yes.
Yes.
And a small plaque.
Let's look at
Granny too. And a small gift that you can carry. This is the Maharaja, denotes the Maharaja that you are. So,
Sandalwood.
the sandalwood Ambari. Thank you so much. We will, yeah, kind of.
Now I'm going to give you back.
Good evening, friends. So I know Kanwal for last almost 40 years now. And every time I meet and I see a transformation in him, which even he must not have recognized. So I was at Wipro as R&D manager or VP technology. And we were visiting US in 1983 or 84 in a Hilton Hotel in Santa Clara. So then I found Exelon internal meeting, some conference happening, this one. So I knew about Exelon, I know about, heard about Kanwal. So we get crashed into his thing and said we are so and all those things. So we want to do certain things in US. So as usual, he said, look, you're not going to do it. There's no way you people will have the commitment, the process, and the desire you don't have. So on the face he told, don't waste your time. So that was Kanwal of pre-Exelon. So then time passed and we were doing, and he went to Univel as the president. So with a mission to popularize Unix. Whereas even though Unix was invented in AT&T Bell Labs in the United States and University of California, Berkeley, but there was a lot of reluctance on the part of US industry to adopt it. But fortunately for us in India, we didn't have any baggage. So we quickly adopted Unix. Then I was having a problem. AT&T said, we can't give Unix to you, source code. I said, why? Because you don't have a Copyright Protection Act. So we came back to India, talked with the government, and got the Copyright Act passed by the government. And it also happened in a very lucky way because they were introducing a legislation for the copyright of films and music. So they added one more statement called software. So then we took that to AT&T and we got it, and then we found that so Kanwal was the prime mover of Unix all around the globe. So then I met him again. So he said, yeah, now you guys seems to be doing something. So yes, I can see what you are doing, type scenario. So then subsequently, after the Unix, then the TIE started. Okay. When TIE started, so the idea was to help entrepreneurs by charter members to associate members and all those things. It was a unique organization. And I happened to be in the United States 98-2000 for setting up a company called Nthing, in which Wipro is invested. Those 2 years were very, very interesting years because that's the time when the dot-com boom happened and the bust happened and all those things, but also TIE happened. So I became a charter member, and Kanwal, Suhas Patil, C.K. Prahlad, all these, great people who were there associated. And at that time, I saw a different Kanwal. Hey, look, he was telling nothing can happen, and now he is saying, he's pushing, saying that this was to be done, this has to be done, that has to be done. And the basics of entrepreneurship got kind of dispersed there. At the time, if somebody says, no, I have seen Kanwal, that's a great achievement badge. I have seen C.K. Prahlad, like that scenario. So that I will call TIE 1.0. Okay. So when these things are happening, the Exodus communication happened. So K.V. Chandrasekhar, who used to report to me in Wipro, so he left Wipro, then he went and started the company called Exodus. And when I went to see the company, it was 1/4 the size of this hall, where he has just bought one Sun server and one high-speed communication link of 54 kilobytes. I'm not going to get it to us. I said, what is the business model? So there are a lot of people who would like to get internet, they can't afford, they don't know how to get it. They dial up to our server here. Then where does it stop? No, we will connect with the companies in Taiwan because they want to interact with Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley want to interact with Taiwan. So that is the business model. And Kanwal was the person who was supporting it. So it reached a stage, Exodus Communication reached a stage when K.V. Chandrasekhar wanted to close and come back to India. So there is a time Kanwal wrote a check without which there is no K.V. Chandrasekhar, there is no Exodus Communication. So this gave fillip to TIE itself. So Exodus became a poster boy of TIE, and TIE became a attraction to many potential entrepreneurs and all those things. So then what happened was TIE grew when the second chapter was in Boston, third chapter was in Bangalore, started by Bangalore doyens, Ashok Sutha, Kiran Majumdar Shah, Nandan Nilekani, B.V. Naidu, and all these people. Okay, this was 1999. So 2000 I came back to India, and the Nandan Nilekani was president. He was going to take over as CEO of Infosys, so he handed over to me. And I ran it for 4 years as president of TIE, and then I was elected to the TIE first batch of global trustees of TIE. So that's a time when I saw Kanwal's other aspect. So we had gone to TIE, TIE, what do you call this one? No, not TIECOM, the other one. TIE retreat, sorry.
TIE retreat.
Okay. It was in Hawaii. So C.K. Prahlad was there, Kanwal was there, Suhas Patil was there, I was there, and all those things. Kanwal came and told, TIE has become an event manager. I mean, he bluntly told the people saying, you're an event manager. You're last touch. You have to do everything for the entrepreneur, not for other things kind of situation. So there was a big debate. And so there was a request by members to C.K. Prahlad to define TIE 2.0. Okay. So in fact, I was one of the committee helping C.K. Prahlad in writing and all those things. So he coined the word TIE 2.0, democratizing entrepreneurship. That concept was not there before. So C.K. Prahlad came up with this concept during the TIE Hawaii, these things. Then it took some time to kind of percolate and go on all those things. So even though he criticized, Kanwal criticized all these things at that TIE with a positive intent. He also wrote a check immediately for some of the TIE program. So his way of telling bluntly is, even today they are, Priya was telling about it. So that is what it is. And subsequently, when I left Wipro and I wanted to start a company which will act as an interface between the telecom or give access to Silicon Valley ecosystem for entrepreneurs in Bangalore or India without physically going there. Because KB Chandrasekhar went to Silicon Valley and got the advantage. Because the next KB Chandrasekhar from Bangalore can get access to this ecosystem without physically going there. That was the idea of E4E. And then he was willing to invest in that company. But we didn't take money from him. But we had a funding of $100 million coming from KB Chandrasekhar, Somdas and other people. So then subsequently, when Inventus started, we had a lot of interactions. So I know Kanwal for so many years, but the base heart he has not changed. But if you do a X-ray of his heart and see, there'll be entrepreneurship written there. And he never gets tired with any of the activities connected with entrepreneur. It's a school kid, college grad, or a big thing, or a government official. He spends as much of time as they need. And he never gets tired. Maybe they get tired. Okay. So that is Kanwal. I'm very happy to be associated with you for so long. I wish you all the best and good health and keep helping us. Thank you.
That was a wonderful trip down the memory lane. It was fascinating. Thank you, Dr. Mehta. So without further ado, when Kanwal emailed me that day, and we got an email saying that he's going to be in town from BJ Arun, I happened to be with Professor Sadagopan. I looked at it and suddenly said, we've been wanting to get Professor on a conversation, and I said, Prof, would you be free on the 7th? Without batting an eyelid, if Kanwal is there, he says, I'm blocking my calendar. So thank you so much, Prof, for being here with us. It's wonderful. We're eagerly looking forward to this. Before I let you get on to the conversation, must also thank Client Associates. Rajesh is here from Client Associates. Thank you for supporting TIE in the Spirit of TIE Awards. Appreciate the gesture. So, Prof, we have time till 8. Okay. The 1 hour, we're all going to be just all ears and all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Madan, and thank you, TIE. Namaskara. All that I would say, Kanwal, Namma Bangalore is finally getting its Josh back. Just a couple of weeks back, we had Bangalore Tech Summit. It was a reincarnation of IT.com. And of course, Dr. Mehta and I were there. So it's so nice to see the Josh coming back. And your coming is giving a further push. Okay, so thank you. And thank you, Squad, for giving me a chance to have the chat with none other than Kanwal. Okay, so it's great. So, it was interesting. Just about realized it was matching. It was December 11, 2009. Professor Mahabala turned 75, so we wanted to have a celebration. And in that year, Dr. Sridhar Mehta did something unusual. See, a lot of times what happens is, Indian universities will felicitate, IIT Bombay felicitating Nandan, felicitating you, etc. But we don't have often a US university celebrating the alum who has actually decided to move back to India. And that was Dr. Mehta. So we wanted to celebrate Dr. Mehta. And Dr. Tom Kailath, the well-known Stanford professor, was in town, and we wanted to have his talk. And then you were in town, we wanted to felicitate you. So, group of people, we said, how do we plan all the 4? Finally, I said, we will do all 4 in IIITV in one day. That's precisely what happened. You were so kind to kind of come for a function where all 4 happened. And what a nice time, and did not realize that 13 years have passed so fast. Okay, so it's good. So what I plan to do is have a quick little quiz. I had a little email exchange with him. And what I find especially about Kanwal is, he started his own entrepreneurship journey, but he decided to create a platform called TIE. And he also had the ambition and managed to realize it in lifetime that this will be global. This is not Bangalore or Bay Area. Bangalore to Bay Area and everything in between. And that is how many countries it operates, etc. And something very special is, like I keep telling my students, sometimes they don't realize that there are many forms of capital. So most people think of private capital, and then you kind of take loan from your friends, etc. Then you think of bank capital, and people generally stop. And of course, this country, what was the next capital was called equity or the stock, was just not available. It was available only to some friends of brokers of Bombay Stock Exchange. Until 1992, we put National Stock Exchange. But the venture capital just did not exist. And he played a key role. Okay, and the National Venture Capital Fund was started. So it's not only we actually say people create ideas, people create system of ideas. This was system of ideas, and that is what he did, and doing it so well and so nice. So Kanwal, let me start with, I think for the benefit of everyone else, everyone knows, but I think it's nothing like hearing from you. Let us start with your days at IIT Bombay. So something, it's a kind of nice. And you did so much to IIT Bombay. There is a Kanwal Rekhi School of IT is there. But, let us start with the IIT Bombay days.
Thank you.
You are wired.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor. Let me tell you a story. I come from a Fauji family, army family. I'm not only married to a army bride, but my father went to war, as a soldier, as a Jawan, came back as a Subedar after the war was over. And the British were leaving, and we got pulled up and became the officer, sergeant lieutenant. A little bit late in life, but he became sergeant lieutenant. And there was a big achievement on his part. Indians were not officers. Subedar was a big deal. And so he wanted his sons to be army officers. So my eldest brother went to NDA, the National Defense Academy, and he became officer. My second elder brother went to Indian Military Academy and became an officer. I had a speech problem, which I still do, and I was not the army material, and my father wasn't very happy, not very proud of me at all. He's not going to be an army officer. And he was worried about what's going to happen to me. So I come home one day. I'm bookish. I read. I'm pretty good at school. I saw the advertisements in the papers about IIT entrance exam. I applied. I went and sat in the JE. Nobody knew. I got selected. Felt very good. I come home and I tell my dad I got into IIT. He said, "What is an IIT?" "For Indian Institute of Technology." "Government of India institutes?" "Yeah, Government of India institutes." "Free?" "Not quite free. They're mostly free." "How long?" 4 years. You come out after 4 years as an engineer and as a Government of India job. No Government of India job. You come out as an engineer. No job. You pay fee. No pension. Why would you want to go to a place like that? What's the matter with you? See, he was very upset at me. Very upset with me. And here I was feeling that, hoping to get a pat on the back. and so then, my father goes to his office and wants to talk to his commanding officer, Colonel. And he says, "Saab, you have to talk to my son. He's crazy. He wants to go to this place called IIT. And where they have to study for 4 years and no job. His father's commanding officer was younger than him because he had become officer early. And my father, was left, older officers. He used to look, well, a little bit inferiority complex, in front of all these younger officers. So he stood up and says, "Your son got into IIT?" My father said, "Yes." He says, "All our sons have tried and they couldn't get into IIT." And I had gone to a vernacular school, no English, and all these kids had gone to English speaking school where they were very polished. And my father asked, "Is IIT a big deal?" And I said, "Yeah, it's a very big deal. It's a very big honor to get into IIT." So for the first time, my father felt very proud of himself. It's not over yet. He has done one better than his turtle. His son has done better than his turtle son. So that night he came home and said, "Shabash, better shabash." So I got the pat on the back. But I tell you, getting into IIT, was the transformational thing for me because I was very shy. Because all my life I heard that I wasn't going to amount to much because of not being able to get into the army because I was a weak person. And I get to IIT, all these guys, I don't speak English well. Because I went to Hindi medium school. And all these guys are polished, this school and this school and that school. But within a few months in IIT, I started to discover, I'm smarter than most of them. The first test happens, more complex, more abstract things, better I am. So it was a few months into IIT that I started to feel very confident individual. And by the time I got to the US, I was very, very confident, that I am as good as anybody out there. So you are among the best of the best when you're at IITs, at that time. And I did very, very well.
So, after IIT, you took the usual route, Dr. Sridhar Mehta, myself, we all did, right? We all went to United States for graduate study. When did the entrepreneurship journey come? How did you slip into that?
Yeah, this is an interesting story. So I got my first job in 1969. The economy was starting to get shaky. I was at the job for 7 months. I got laid off. The company was in trouble. They laid off everybody. So I got second job, and I was there about 7, 8 months. I got laid off 7 times. Third job, another 7, 8 months, I got laid off third time. 3 layoffs in 2 years, very early on. So, last 2 jobs were in Florida. First job was in New Jersey. There was a big recession in 1971 in the US. Vietnam War was winding down. People were coming back. Space program had run its stores. We had put a man on the moon with no follow-on plans. US economy was slowing down very rapidly, and there was no demand for engineers. Because space program was consuming huge number of engineers, and that they had stopped hiring. So jobs were opening up in this place called Santa Clara Valley on the west coast. Not many people have heard of it. One of my friends told me, "Hey, we have plenty of jobs here." So I ended up in Santa Clara Valley in 1971. Everybody knows as the Silicon Valley now. Intel was a startup, AMD was a startup, National was a startup, long before Apple and any of these people. So I got lucky and I ended up at the right place at the right time, on the ground floor. And I had told myself, that nobody will ever lay me off. I wasn't smart enough to know what was happening with the companies. They offered me a job and I took it. I want to know how they are doing in business. I want to keep track of it. I want to anticipate if they're going to lay me off, rather than be surprised. So, it took me several years to become confident. Being an IIT, and I was a decent, engineer, and it did very, very well. Then, I became, in my opinion, one of the best logic designer, computer designer in the valley. A very good reputation. I was seen as a magician. I could make things happen. In hardware logic design. Starting to feel, I'm 35, and as far as I went up on the ladder as far as I could go. Technical, and Indians were not managers or managerial materials, not seen from, who would work for Indians, most of, there was a fear, these guys are smart, they have this, mathematical gene, they can write code, they can design, but they are not whole person, they don't know how to manage people, they don't know how to sell, market, so we had no history of being managers. So people who will work for me that will get promoted up, ahead of me. And, so I was very tired of that one. Then I saw a story in the paper, and this is the real touch. There was a company called Altos Computers, Dr. Mitapai knows. It was a CPM GAT machine, was one of the earliest business computer. It was started by the name of a person, David Jackson. David Jackson had worked for me. He was somebody I trained. He was immigrant from England. And when he came, he worked for me for 2 years, 3 years. And he had moved on. And all of a sudden it hit me that David Jackson, somebody who worked for me, probably not as smart as an average IIT, he has become an entrepreneur. And why can't I become an entrepreneur? Why am I stuck here working as an engineer? These guys don't want to make me a manager. And so that totally unsettled me as an individual. Totally unsettled me. I couldn't sleep. And so one day I told my wife that I want to quit my job and I want to go try my hand at being an entrepreneur. I was doing very, very well. We had a house, we had 2 kids, we have 2 cars, you pay mortgage, right?
American dream.
American dream, making very good salary, Even though I was not a manager, I was making top salary. And we had been married 10 years. I'm stable, predictable, boring person, and all of a sudden telling nonsense. Leaving my job. What about the kids? What about the mortgage? What's the matter with you? And one day she said, am I making you unhappy? You're going to leave your job, maybe you're going to leave me too. And I said, no dear, nothing to do with you. You are not making me unhappy. He said, Dad, David Jackson is making me unhappy. He has become an entrepreneur and I'm stuck here. So, so that's how I had to go try. I thought I was better than David Jackson. I thought I was better than anybody else. Now I have to go prove it to myself. So you get in your comfort zone. You become stuck in your routine, next day, next project, this report, that thing, and time passes on. Somebody has to.
But it's amazing. It's something which is,
push you out.
Talking to you every time there is some new learning. So thank you so much. I think it was such an insight. And from an entrepreneur, you decided just not to be an entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur, $1 billion, $20 billion, etc. But we decided to create a platform. And the whole world is benefiting. We are all benefiting. We are all sitting. Okay. How did this tie, even the name, how did you come up with this name?
Okay.
So curious.
So 2 things, all right. It was a very lonely journey as an entrepreneur. Nobody believed that we could succeed, we could build a company. Nobody believed that we could hire senior white people to come and work for us. Nobody believed that there was no history of Indian entrepreneurs, there was no history of Indian managers. So it was very lonely journey. And if you needed some advice and help, you don't talk to somebody, the first thing they will say, why are you doing this? You guys are not natural here. Your natural, your strength is in design, being engineer. Why don't you be happy doing that one? So there was immediate that jump to that. So there was no mentoring available, no advice available, no sounding board. Entrepreneurial journey is a very high highs and very low lows in a very rapid succession. You need somebody to sort of talk to, especially as a CEO. You can't talk to your employees, because if you have some worries, you talk to your employees. You shake them up. So when we, several of us who were succeeded through our partner, several of us, when we started to talk to each other, we all discovered we had very lonely journeys. It was very hard. And somebody said it shouldn't have been that. We should. Why don't we become the mentors? Why don't we become the advisors? Why don't we provide the things? So the genesis of this whole thing was a personal experience. It shouldn't have been that hard. It shouldn't have been that lonely. And then we still realized that even though several of us had done well, succeeded, a handful of us, most of us were still looking for stability, stable jobs, and all that. And so we need to educate our people, inspire our people to become entrepreneurs. And that was the tie. The tie was India, US. IND, it was capital US. It was red, white, and blue. We were proud Americans. We wanted to be mainstream. We didn't want to be a side stream. And we wanted to acknowledge our Indian heritage, but we wanted to be, stand tall in America. But it was also a play on the word Indus. We were Indus Valley civilization people, and Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis are all same people. So it was play on the words on both sides. So it became the Indus entrepreneur rather than the Indian entrepreneur.
And you see, many universities have been providing this kind of platform, so plays and then yearly help, mentoring, a little bit of grants, etc., etc. But generally they are available only to their own students, their own alum, etc. So you essentially became a platform neutral. So you are no longer limited to anybody. That was something which was very unusual.
Yeah, so, this may sound a little bit haughty, but it was a spiritual movement. It was very much a spiritual movement. We started to, especially after C.K. Prahlad got engaged with us, C.K. Prahlad started to compare this with the Indian freedom movement. He started to talk about Purna Swaraj. We never achieved Purna Swaraj. We are still economically dependent. So C.K. Prahlad was a person who started to set this lofty goals and lofty language. That this is India's second freedom movement. And he's the one who said, we need to take this out. And so he and I traveled. C.K. traveled with me to Pakistan also. So he became some one of a, those of you know C.K. was unlimited brilliance, unlimited intelligence. He could see a thing and 30 seconds later he should analyze it like you would believe. So I really enjoyed my association with him, and he became a guru. He wrote that paper House of Tai.
Yes.
And we talked about the retreat in Hawaii in year 1990 and 2001 was retreat. I think year 2000. Year 2000 retreat in Maui. So we brought maybe 200, 300 people together. It was very inspirational. Meeting C.K. led the discussions. And then we discovered this resonated with everybody. We have done well. How do we use us as a lighthouses, mentors, and so we define a rule. We need to become accessible. We cannot say no when an entrepreneur approaches. We cannot look down on an entrepreneur. We cannot and must not take advantage of an entrepreneur. This is not a commercial relationship. This is a Guru Chela relationship. This is a so there was a very strong debates that happened. So the values got adopted. So most of the Thai chapters were opt-in. We didn't evangelize. People came to us. Can we do a chapter in Bangalore? Can we do a chapter in Mumbai? These chapters are forming, like that. We didn't limit. We didn't say, hey, our brand, our can pay us the franchise fee. You want to start a chapter? This is what we do. Here are the things we do. So the Thai spread because the values were accepted, and one of the things CTS said over and over. This must not become a movement of an individual or personality driven. This must be a value driven organization where it will survive all of us. Indian National Congress almost didn't survive the Indian Freedom Movement. Muslim League, it didn't survive Jinnah. This must be a values driven organization where everybody feels part of it. And there is a room for anybody who wants to contribute is welcome. And so whichever and that thing continues, right? It's a volunteer-driven organization, and the impact has been phenomenal. And so there's been nothing like that before.
No, it's interesting. CK after his Hawaii trip was in Bangalore. So we were talking about it. And it's interesting. CK Matt was the person instrumental in CII getting that India at 75.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff which goes on this Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav actually started, it's just unfortunate that we lost him early, but otherwise, I'm sure he must be blessing us from the heaven. So it's amazing. Such an amazing person, such a short time could do so much for the country.
He was a professor. He said, I am not an entrepreneur. I probably don't belong with you guys. Would you guys let me be a fly on the wall? That's what he requested. I said, no, you are not a fly on the wall. You are the guru. Come and join us. He did start next values or whatever that.
Next practice. Next practice.
Next practices. So but you need somebody like CK with lots of brilliance, to cut through the so he developed the conceptual framework what we're doing, which has stood the test of time.
Okay. Slightly related, but very pointed question. Thai has grown so large. This is something which you actually thought was at that 2000, or is it a real surprise for you?
Total surprise.
Okay.
Thai is a totally decentralized organization. It does not have a top-down central. We do have a Thai global organization, but that organization was designed to protect the Thai name and brand and reputation, so nobody could abuse our brand and do something different than we. We want to make sure our thing stays wholesome and provide networking between different chapters. Thai retreat has become the vehicle to do the inter-chapter networking. We had a retreat in Rome this summer. And by the way, next retreat is in Rio, in Brazil, next July. So the growth has been organic.
Yes.
It's not a profit organization where we do, but we have been very generous with our time to do, help people start chapters.
That's amazing. And you also had some interesting contribution in the policy planning front. And Mr. Vajpayee, then Prime Minister, personally met with you. And this is something which I'm sure many would like to kind of know, and nothing like hearing from you.
So, So everybody knows Sam Pitroda as a Jeev Gandhi, the father of Telecom, right? At least that's what they claim. Sam Pitroda and I debated for 20 years at various forums. He wanted to develop indigenous telecom technology, and I kept saying, we need telecom networks, our masses to use it now, our businesses to use it now. And he and I in a debate in Chicago where he said, one man, one telephone is a wasteful Western practice that India can ill afford. That's Ampitura.
Yeah.
AT&T wanted to come to India and help upgrade the network. They said we'll invest $6 to $8 billion. Sam Pitroda was tight on jar. He threw them out of his office. And AT&T came and talked to me and said, he's the prime minister's, there's not much I can do. So BJP comes to power. Sam Pitroda did do the STD. His dream was one phone per village.
Yes. ISD booths.
Yeah.
ISD booths.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when Vajpayee became prime minister, he gave a speech. IT is India's tomorrow.
Yes, that was
I don't
telling
know.
statement.
Yeah. So I heard that speech. I requested a meeting with Vajpayee. Through Dewan Mehta of National.
Yes, come.
And he said, yeah, come on in. So I went to see him. So I told him, I was very impressed when he says that, but you can't build India's tomorrow on this third-rate, PPP telecom network.
Right.
You need to do, and also if you're trying to do that, you're going to have to allow entrepreneurship and venture capital. He said, he told me in Hindi, "Bataiye kya kare." So I put that to me, tell me what to do, right?
Yeah.
So I came back to US. I organized a couple of high-powered groups at Stanford University. I said, we need to advise Indian government what to do on the telecom policy. And eventually, so they were told Indian professors who became part of that group. And we came back to India. The Foreign Venture Capital Association, Foreign Venture Capital Asset Plus. We told them they have to recognize and allow that not very easily accepted. Not just once. What was the other guy?
Yashwant Sinha.
Yashwant Sinha. He was the finance minister. Right. He understood. And that made a big difference. Also, you could do that asset class became recognized and to do venture capital investment in India. But the telecom policy recommendations, I went to present to the minister, Ram Vilas Paswan, and I says, here's what we think India should adopt. And he looked at me and said, you're wasting your time. Telecom is not a problem that we have. You have, if you want to help India, you have to solve India's number one problem. And I said, what is that? He said, population problem. He said, you have to help us solve our population problem. So I said, why are you worried about population problem? You are a telecom minister. The health minister should worry about that. And then he looked at me. He spoke broken English. Half Hindi. I'm from UP, so I have no problem. And then he says, telecom is a national defense issue. We cannot allow private telecom networks in India. It will destroy our national defense. I said, why are you worried about national defense issues? You're not a defense minister either. And I had spent almost $2 million to have this group organized, and I had spent about a year, 18 months, coming up with. I felt very frustrated, and I wrote an opinion piece in Times of India, you can find on the internet if you search right now. It was called DOT Hatao, Desh Bachao.
Desh Bachao.
It was a very sharply written word, yeah. And I flew back to US. I said, what a waste of time. I spent 2 years of my life and $2 million, and we have this, Telecom Minister, telling me to worry about the population problem, right? So I get back to US, tired, and I get a phone call, Prime Minister's office is starting. Prime Minister's office is starting, so Prime Minister's principal secretary says, Mr. Prime Minister has read your opinion piece today, and he's wondering why did you write it? He wants to talk to you. I said, I'm back in the US, and I expressed my opinion already. So he said, no, can you come back? Can you come back? I said, okay, maybe in 2 weeks. He said, no, can you come back tomorrow or day after? And so I flew back to India. I'm there maybe 20, not even the full day. I fly back to India, and I went to go see him. So he asked me what happened. Say, he told me, and I told him about the FPSC that was adopted by the Yaswansinas, people, but Ravilas, he says, oh, teacher, Sowmya. And I'm being asked to leave. You brought me back from US for 5 minutes. Sowmya, right? And so as I was watching out, getting upset at the engaging, the principal secretary, the Prime Minister. He says, no, just watch it. He has heard you. So I flew back to US. By the time I got to US, he had replaced Ramvilas Paswan. He sent him to the Toll Ministry and put Pramod Mahajan as the Telecom Minister. Pramod Mahajan accepted our recommendations without change, and that became a national policy. Sometime in 2001, I think the first quarter of 2001.
Yes.
At the time this policy was accepted, and I'll tell you the essence of the party. There were 17 million landlines in India and 1 million cell phones in India. This is 2001. It is over 1 billion people, right? Yeah. And at the end of that year, there were 17 million landlines in India and 80 million.
86 million actually.
86 million.
Yes.
So the basic essence of the policy was, don't sell licenses. Do a revenue share. And unlimited licenses to anybody who wants to set up a network in India. Only requirement is you have to build the network within a year, start service within a year. And if you're not, you lose your license and get back in line. The very nominal fees. The theory was, if you have to have a license to do, the prices of a license consumes all your capital. And you have no money left to build a network, and your asset is license rather than a network. Yes. Then you try to monetize your asset. So licenses are being sold back and forth, and nobody's building a network. Our theory was, let the race begin, let the money flow, let the government out. The government's requirement was some lifeline. I don't know the. If the number but small, you must provide some lifeline funds to the government authorized institutes, and it became a competitive race. Yes. And didn't stop till all of India had the phones. Yeah. So this was a test of free market. Government of India didn't spend a dime. It wasn't the Indian government, Indian taxpayers' money, it was the private capital networks were being set up. And Bharti was the biggest winner, because Bharti was the one which had somehow gotten the one license in one sector,
Yes.
and they had a network up, and they were quickly able to raise $50 million and expand. But others raised it.
Yeah.
And so, and we know what India's.
But that was such an amazing moment,
Yeah.
amazing decision.
Yeah.
See, today in India, people routinely talk of Aadhaar, Jandan, UPI, etc., etc. All these things just would have been vacuous.
Yeah.
The whole world had problem of COVID, but Kanwal, in this country, unusual. In a small, tiny village in far off Rajasthan, the school teacher would use a whiteboard. His or her little daughter or son would use the mobile phone camera, and they were actually teaching. So there are some compromises made, etc., etc. But the fact is, the schools did not stop.
Yeah.
And but for this, it wouldn't happen. That's amazing.
So the point I want to make is, what is our goal? To develop telecom technology or provide telephone services, telecom services to our people? We can feel very proud of developing new, unique, indigenous technology. You know how much money was consumed by Sam Pitroda's CDOT? Close to $10 billion. He tried to reinvent the wheel. There was nothing new, nothing unique in what he developed, but it was done by Indian engineers in India. So I am very clear-headed about that. We should be looking forward. We should not be becoming false pride. Our need is to advance our economy and our people. Our need is not to develop technology at a very expensive pace. Let's get proven cheap solutions. Let them happen in India. So telecom revolution has added at least 2 to 3% growth every year since that happens. Maybe even more, right?
Yeah. Thank you. So the next 20 minutes, I have two parts. First part, I just want your quick advice to the entrepreneurs, to the startups, and maybe a little bit your broader advice to the country. At this stage, to 2022 December.
Okay. So two things about it. So India is a global experiment. Country this poor, this illiterate, this diverse, I can do this forever. Won the freedom in a very peaceful fashion by and large. Chose to become a constitutional democracy with universal franchise. Everybody had a right. It wasn't just the educated people or not just the men. Everybody got the right. I remember the song, Jisme Sabadi Tarna Pai, was Satya Swaraj na hoda. Do you remember that song, right? Yeah. So we started on a very right foot. We ended up making this big mistake. An elite set of people said, our people are too poor, too dumb, too illiterate to know what's good for them. We will decide for them. Let's do some planning, let's do some stuff. And they brought this state-driven, top-down socialist mindset. Nobody is smart enough to plan. Nobody, they need. So we chose to become, so what happens in the reality, the democracy and market, free markets are matched pair. Democracy, you make a choice to who's going to rule you. In free market, you choose a product A versus product B. You vote every day with your rupees. Who is providing you better products, who is providing you better service. And then you vote every few years to see. And they have matched pair. Let the competition happen in the marketplace. Rules of the road are going to be decided by our legislature. We are not going to have, since this is not working, we have a mechanism where majority decide what the rules are there. So it's a noble experiment. It got derailed, but we are back on the track. I thought we were back on the track in 2000 after the telecom revolution. but we ended up going back to what about the Aam Aadmi? Yeah, we got back into slogan and we got back into the old socialist minds for 10 years. But we are back on the track. India is starting to move. We are starting to trust our entrepreneurs. We need to trust our entrepreneurs more fully. 150,000 entrepreneurs is a drop in the bucket. Can we have million entrepreneurs? Can we have 10 million entrepreneurs? So I'm telling Thai now to adopt a mission that Thai will commit to have 1 million entrepreneurs by 2030, 10 million by 2047. And these entrepreneurs, it should be, we need to develop a framework of policy and all that. How do we make sure India's growth is very inclusive? We cannot leave half the India behind in villages. Yes, it's not, you cannot say my arms are very strong, but my legs are going to be weak because India is a whole country. Every part of India has to be strong. Villages, third-tier cities, fourth-tier cities. It's not just the metro. India is not just the metro. So how do we empower, enable, incentivize our entrepreneurs to bring the fruits of modern technology, modern science, modern way of thinking into villages, into fifth-tier cities, into fourth-tier cities? How do we get to the place? India is going to be the third largest economy soon. Is that enough for us? Maybe the second largest economy is possible. Can we aspire to be the first largest economy in the world?
To be the first.
By 2045.
That is the right aspiration.
We are second to none. We are as smart a people as any. And being in America 55 years, I'll tell you, we are much smarter than Americans. I tell my wife, my vice president, my wife is half Swedish, some Spanish, some English, some charity. So we are a true global family. So my children are half Indian, half Swedish. You can name it like. The Indians are as smart people, as hardworking people as any. We have had a misfortune, for a long time. We are back on the track. The US is ahead of us because they taught the democracy and market very early on. And now we are starting to see the results. Can we stay on this track for another 25 years? I think we'll be number one economy. China is in trouble. China is top down. The problem with this top down autocracy is when he's right, everything works. When he's wrong, everything breaks apart. He says, lock down all these cities. The entrepreneurship, these guys are doing opportunity. Let's say, one man decided there's no debate. Indian democracy is messy, bottom-up, inefficient, but it resolves internal conflicts in a very effective fashion. A Tamilian may not have much influence in Delhi, but he has no less influence than any Punjabi or any Bengali. It's bad. India is the only multinational society, multi-ethnic society which has survived. Yugoslavia fell apart and Soviet Union fell apart because neither of them was a democracy. We are a large enough country, we have room for everybody. So I come back and say, can we focus on economy? Can we turn our entrepreneurs loose? Can we trust our people to make choices for themselves? And I think that's where we are headed. My role is, at least I should adopt the mission of, how do we start championing 1 million entrepreneurs, chapters in all the metros, all the second-tier cities, maybe all the third-tier cities, let this be another, Purna Swaraj type of a movement.
I think it's excellent. I think the aspiration of number one is something truly aspirational.
You have to aspire to be number one. If you say, I'm happy being number 3, you'll be number 3.
CK will be jumping in joy from his heaven. Thank you. So, one question our students wanted to ask you. Do you have any specific advice for budding student entrepreneurs?
Don't listen to your mom. beta, ye baro, beta wo baro. Beta settle ho jao. Beta, discipline. Be restless. Okay. Be your own boss. Boss to your own tune. Find your David Jackson. Don't be happy being, don't put your destiny in somebody's hand. Be the job creator. Be the best creator rather than be the job consumer. So, so let me give you only another way of thinking. Only 1 to 2% of the population will succeed as entrepreneurs. Yes. So as a rule, if you come and talk to me, I'll put you in a budget of 98 to 99%. Oh yeah, you want to be an entrepreneur, sure. That in the line over there. The burden is on you to prove that you belong in that 1 to 2%. Yeah. And you can decide that you're not that smart, and it's fine being not that smart and doing a job, but it's your choice. Don't let anybody else tell you. So my advice is, becoming an entrepreneur is becoming a tapasvi. You have to do your tapasya. 3, 4, 5 years of very hard life. Yes. Nothing works. You're getting substandard salary, maybe no salary. Put yourself through that hardship. Easy life is available. You don't have a job. Nothing wrong with that one. But this is yours. You're not good enough to be an entrepreneur. Don't let anybody else tell you that.
Okay, thank you. I think excellent piece of advice. I'm sure the students must be. And coming straight from your heart, I think it is so valuable. We have about 8 minutes. So quick couple of questions. Yeah, the hand go up. Okay, please, can you, all right, make it loud so that everybody can listen. Yeah.
We have
or you can use,
there's a mic.
Can use a mic. I can talk to that. No, but I think it's easier. Yeah.
Check. I would like to thank you for starting a wonderful platform like TIE for entrepreneurs like that. This has definitely made our life a lot simpler. And thank you for being such an inspiration for all the young entrepreneurs like us. My question is, during your days, being an entrepreneur, I'm sure would have been very, very difficult, right? So what is the phase that you went through, which was very difficult, right? I'm sure you might have felt like, maybe I want to give up, right? And what made you want to continue? And how you overcame the situation like that?
Becoming an entrepreneur was not even a thought. When I was getting a job was the way to do, right? Getting a government job was the way to do. My father was very unhappy when I was in army material. And he kept saying, well, you're not an IAS material either. So I was determined to prove him wrong. And so there was fire in my tummy to show them I was as good as anybody out there. And in America, I was very aware that nobody has any faith. Indian Americans started to emerge as the top-notch students at universities in the 70s, and they started to emerge as good engineers, and then top-notch engineers in 70s in the companies. And by the time I was on my 4th job, 5 years, I had become indispensable. They absolutely depended upon me and my way of operating. And then this guy becomes an entrepreneur who worked for me. The thought had not occurred to me till then. And that's when I realized, why am I not thinking of becoming an entrepreneur? If David Jackson can do it, I trained him, why can't I do it? So I had to answer that, am I not good enough? I know I am better than David Jackson. Or am I? I have to do it and prove it. So this is the thing, the whole idea was I got destabilized, where I'm best of the best. But this guy is an entrepreneur and I am not. Why can't I be an entrepreneur? So, so it was that kind of process that forced me to quit my job and made my wife unhappy.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other question? Yeah.
I don't know if this question is appropriate, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So you did mention Sam Petroda quite a few times, right? And can I ask you if you can draw some parallels or contrast between Sam Petroda and Nandan Nilekani? Nandan Nilekani is an entrepreneur.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Sam Petroda is not.
Oh, okay. I got my answer, I guess.
Sam Petroda went back to India, came back to India to become a bureaucrat. He got a bungalow in Lutyens Delhi, being, I don't want this to go out being Rajiv Gandhi's chamcha. He got his $10 billion to do the, because he was a family's courtier. Nandan Nilekani is a proud entrepreneur. He built the company. He came back and did the India Stat. He's acted like a self-made man, making his contributions to nation building, rather than taking government tax money and investing in these technologies. I and Sam had many debates face to face like that. He had a strong dislike for entrepreneurs, just like the Gandhi family. We need to serve India and to serve the government of India. You don't need to go to government of India to serve India. You need to serve India by serving India.
You serve India, but not just the government of India. Excellent point. Last question. Yeah.
Yes. Very inspiring comments and thoughts. Thank you so much, Kanwal. You kind of mentioned one particular thing about a million more entrepreneurs and beyond that, right? To make us from 3 to 1. How do we institutionalize this beyond the TIE platform? Could we make our universities do better? How do we take the message out there?
It's happening. The power of ideas. It's the power of ideas. We need to put these ideas in the people's mind. Nothing I'm saying here should offend a true Indian. And nothing here I'm saying will be in intellectual dissonance with what's possible. And nothing being an aspirational role of being number 1. We are already seeing the impact with the minor changes. We got from nowhere to number 3 or number 5. And we are going to close to become number 3. With a little bit of effort, we can become number 1.
Thank you. I just have a quick follow-on question to that. As again, the institutionalization part, wherein earlier...
I do not want a bureaucratic way of thinking.
Understand.
This is a movement. This is a people's movement.
Thank you.
I do not like planning. I do not like bureaucratic processes. I want people to be empowered and people to be enabled in their thinking. Freedom movement was not an organized movement, it was a people's movement.
And it's, Kanwal, I think wonderful. It is a movement and the movement has started. We want Kanwal to come every year in December and we will take stock, and as we move from number 5 to number 4 to number 3 to number 2 to number 1, Kanwal will be there to celebrate along with us. Let us look for the day.
Tell me, how many of you would be happy being number 2?
Get by. You would love it. Get by.
You'll get by.
But number 1 now.
Yes. That's good. I think wonderful way to kind of approach. See, I'm sure we all would love to hear more, but he has been kind of extraordinary kind in giving us time. And originally it was supposed to be 6 to 8, and Madan kind of sneaked out. He managed to get some half a dozen entrepreneurs, so he was actually spending time from 5 to 6. That means he was here in the hotel at 4:45. I think it's just not fair to kind of take any more of his time. Okay. And thank you all. I think we all probably should give him a standing ovation. Somebody can capture the crowd. Yeah. I don't know. We can just stand like this. Large crowd. We can just come here. Come this side. Yeah. I think they're wonderful.